There are two reasons why your hairdresser might fail you. So my client came to me because she wanted to know her best wardrobe colors, but also her best hair colors. And by the seasonal color analysis, she was recommended an autumn color palette, not only for her wardrobe, but also for her hair colors. When you look down, there are recommendations for hair colors. You can read red, auburn, copper, chestnut, red brown, golden brown, beige blonde, charcoal black, and she should avoid blonde or ash. Now, the first reason why your hairdresser might fail you is because you are being recommended colors by the seasonal color analysis. In several videos on my channel, I've already explained why the seasonal color analysis fails you miserably in over 90% of the time for wardrobe colors. It is pretty much the same with their recommendations for hair colors. Because the seasonal system has no scientific standards or basis or a scientific process in developing colors for specific color types, but also the generic color descriptions are too vague for a hairdresser to know exactly what shade you need. And the second reason why your hairdresser will fail you is because you are just delivering generic descriptions such as red. Now, there are various hues or frequencies when it comes to red, not just one. Same goes for auburn, same goes for copper. These are very generic descriptions. So your hairdresser, depending on how he or she was trained, in over 90% of the time, they will choose the wrong color, even if you deliver this generic description. And this is also another reason why hairdressers fail, which is not necessarily their fault, because there's not enough efficient and scientific training when it comes to color based on specific color types. My hope with this video is that you not only see that there is a better system out there now that I have developed over the past 20 years of meticulous study and research of physics, biology, medicine, and much more to really come up with a realistic system to cater to 8 billion color types. Now, you create a very specific contrast with the type of hair color that you choose. If she would go for a blonde hair color, which was not recommended by the seasonal color analysis for her, she would be considered medium to low contrast. Now, that will have a large effect on the types of colors that she can wear in her wardrobe. If she goes for a dark brown hair color, she increases her contrast and solidifies her medium contrast and moves even more into the medium to semi-bright contrast. That will also have an effect on the types of colors that she can wear in her wardrobe, but also in her makeup. Now that I understand her entire color type, I can develop her 3 best hair colors. The first hair color is based on her root hair color, which was red-orange. These hair colors will be the most harmonious with her because they will be just one with her skin, but also with her natural hair. And I've chosen a soft chroma hair color, which is very important because now she is moving more into the soft chroma spectrum. So this is the most natural hair color for her while she is transitioning into the graying process. SRO11 is dark enough to maintain a higher contrast without overwhelming her color type. And from the frequency perspective of the color or the hue of the color is just perfectly aligned with her. Unlike the red-based color that was living aside from her. Most women are really craving nowadays for a hair color that is easy to maintain. So I've chosen one that is much easier to maintain while lightening up her color type. It is still within the red-orange spectrum, but it is a little bit brighter in chroma, still in the soft spectrum. As you can see, her natural hair color is here, and I just moved it a little bit to a hazelnut, to a soft hazelnut color that would lighten up her color type. And she looks now softer, she looks more feminine. Her eyebrows are now more aligned with the hair color. And as you can see, this hair color as well is very beautifully aligned with her skin tone. It is not standing against her skin tone. It is beautifully aligned with it. If she wants to go a little bit brighter, if she wants to brighten up her color type, this is what you can generally do. If this is your natural hair color, let's say, and you want to brighten up your color type, I recommend to move up a chroma level. If your natural hair color is in the soft spectrum, I recommend just moving up one level, which would be the medium chroma spectrum. But this type of soft copper will brighten up her color type the most of all the possible hair colors. This is like the brightest that she can go. And that's also something very important to understand. Not in all hair colors you could go that bright. For certain hues, she would not be able to go as bright. So the red-orange spectrum, because it is aligned with her root skin but also root hair color, she can go brighter because that is exactly the frequency that will create more radiance, that will energize her entire color type and body. This is the reason why she can go brighter. So MR03 is a perfect hair color if she wants to look radiant. Though this hair color is also not too dark, because the other hair color, the original hair color that was based on red, it was too dark. It was creating a very high contrast for her. It was stretching her natural contrast too much, which made her look more masculine. With this softer and a little bit lighter color, I am enhancing her feminine features. Now let's move on to the face and head shape analysis to find her best hairstyles. Her face shape mostly fits into the oval face shape, which also is a little bit of a mix with a heart shape because her forehead and top head space is larger than the lower jaw space. This is very important to consider when you are looking for hairstyles, because the number one goal with hairstyles, as with everything else, is balance. To go deeper into the analysis, I'm also looking at the facial width for every single feature of your face or your head. Now, her forehead is decreasing in width, while her widest feature is around her cheekbones or eye area, while her jaw is the smallest in width, which means that I need to create the right type of balance with the hairstyle based on her facial width. Another thing to consider is also facial length. Now, even though I have already analyzed her to have an oval face, this does not mean that you can just run with any type of hairstyle, because that's the recommendation that you will get. Oval faces are the most desired face shapes, and so you can go with any type of hairstyle. That's a very generic advice, and when you start trying out different hairstyles, you will quickly notice that that's not enough to know about yourself to really get the right hairstyle for your face shape. The facial length analysis shows that the longest distance on her face is between her eyebrows and her upper lip. Now, this means that her midsection is the longest, while her forehead is the second longest, while the chin area is the shortest. Now, this again supports what I've analyzed before, that her midsection is the most dominant, while her forehead the second dominant, and the least dominant is her chin area. This already tells me what kind of hairstyles I need to look into to create balance for her head shape and face shape. The next step that I'm analyzing is the cranial top, meaning the distance between the top of your head and how much space there is before your hair starts growing out. In her specific case, even though I don't see her forehead, it is already visible and obvious through her hairline, on this side at least, that her cranial top is short. That is extremely important when you are choosing specific hairstyles. And I will show you just in a second how important your cranial top is. The next thing that I'm looking at is the prominent features in the face. In her case, based on the facial length, it already told me that her most prominent feature will be situated in the longest section of her face, which is her nose, which is very typical for people who have a long midsection. They oftentimes have a prominent nose. And the second most prominent feature is her forehead, which again creates dominance at this mid to top section. And this already reveals why this specific hairstyle is wrong for her face shape and head shape, because it creates a lot of width at the top, as you can see, and it creates an additional focus on the nose. For very few cases, I would recommend creating focus on the nose. For most cases, I recommend creating focus, depending on how your features are situated, either on your eyes or on your lips. So it is either a top focus or a bottom focus. And if none of these two features are prominent in your case, I would recommend to create focus on your cheekbones, because that is most probably what is your signature feature, so to speak. Her eyes don't seem prominent, also because the makeup is not right for her color type. Also, her lips are not very prominent, and her cheekbones are also not very prominent, which is very typical for oval face shapes. But what I can do is create focus where I think it would be best for her specific face shape. Now, again, with this specific hairstyle, the triangular shape is emphasized even more, so that the top of her head seems very voluminous, while the bottom part, the chin part, feels very slim and thin. This is an imbalance created by the hairstyle. It is a top-heavy triangle with the visual weight at the top. Now, how am I going to improve this? The first hairstyle goal would be to reduce width at the top and the sides, because her forehead is the second prominent feature. So if I just keep her hairstyle as it is, but I reduce the top and the sides, you can already see how much more balanced her face looks. Now, if she wants to go with a short hairstyle, I recommend doing this. Here you can see a comparison with a before and after. In the before image, it shows how her head seems very top heavy, while the bottom seems very weak, if you will. It is not balanced, while when you take off the top and the sides, the face looks more oval, more balanced. The next hairstyle goal would be to make the eyes more prominent, because with the right type of makeup, I believe that her eyes should be the most prominent, not only because of her eye color. How do I achieve that? One of the goals would be off-center parting to reduce face length. She has a fairly long face. Even though she's an oval face, she is almost an oblong face. So to achieve more focus on the eyes, I would recommend to go away from this extreme side parting, because that is elongating the face even more, and create a slightly more off-center parting. As you can see with the arrows alone, that this type of parting really creates a center focus on the eyes. It frames the eyes beautifully. And as you can see, I've compared the length of the lines that you've just seen here, so that you can see it really reduces the length of the face. And it depends on your face shape and how your head is formed. Some people have a longer line from here to here, and some people have a longer line from here to here. That is oftentimes the case when you have a higher cranial top. You will have a higher line from top to bottom, and to reduce this height, so to speak, or this length, you would have to go to a side parting to reduce the length of your face. Now that depends, but in her case it will reduce the length of the face and just create a more feminine look, a more softer look, if you reduce the side parting to an off-center parting. Now, another thing that I would recommend doing is to reduce the center length with longer bangs. Now, these are way too short. They are starting here, which again will create more volume at the top, which she definitely does not need. And she has gorgeous, thick hair, a lot of hair. By creating extreme layers with this type of hairstyle, she will create more volume that is just not creating the right shape. Now, the layers of the bangs should start at the cheekbones so that they can frame the face and the eyes more beautifully. Now we come to the most important goal of her entire face shape, is to create volume at the bottom, because her chin is the slimmest, is the lightest in terms of visual weight. So creating width on the sides will balance her face shape. And you will see in a second how that will look. Another aspect that I'm analyzing for your best hair colors and hairstyles is your hair type. In her case, she has a 2C to 3A hair type. Now, when she was younger, she had more of a 3A hair type. Now it is, especially when it is shorter, it looks more like 2C, which is very important when you are creating layers. This is another reason why I'm saying if the layers are longer, she will not struggle so much with the 2C hair type, because through the weight, they will behave in a better way, so to speak. Now that I understand her hairstyle and everything about her face shape in particular, I can show you her 3 hairstyles. The first one is a pixie cut with longer layers for bangs. I did not include the longer bangs, but you can see them in these examples. They are longer bangs that are starting at least at the eyebrows or at the cheekbones, as well as here. They are just creating the right type of volume to accentuate the eyes. And this one is the best type of length for her hair type. And also by keeping it shorter at the back and longer at the front, she will be able to accentuate her eyes and to soften the top heavy visual weight and bring it down more into the center. Now, the second type of hairstyle I recommend is a wavy bob with an off-center parting. As you can see, her face doesn't look that long anymore. This is the most perfect hairstyle for her to balance her entire face shape. As you can see, there's nothing top-heavy anymore. It is really beautifully balanced, and you can see her oval face shape for real. And she would not need to do anything in particular because she already has these types of waves naturally. The only thing that I would recommend to achieve this type of polished look is to look into hair care, how she can care for her curls to create beautiful and bouncy waves so that they are not dry or frizzy, or so that they don't create massive frizzy volume around the head. And if she ever wants to go with longer hair, this is what her natural hair would look like in terms of hair type, the types of waves that will develop with length. As you can see, with an off-center parting, it creates the right type of balance, and because the curls are down here, they create the right type of volume in this area, so the eyes are more prominent. Same goes for a more flat long hair style that will also create the most volume at the chin area and will just balance her face shape beautifully. When I now combine the hairstyles with her recommended best wardrobe colors that I have talked about in my last video, I will link the video in the description, you can see the full makeover. And I have kept her short hair because I believe she would rather go with a short haircut because it's easier to manage. So with this copper hairstyle, one of her best colors is avocado peel. And you can see how that creates a beautiful and radiant look for her eyes. Her eyes are the center attention. Now with the right makeup, it will catapult her entire look into more radiance, looking more polished. Now with the softer brown hair color, which is the most natural, the most calm hair color for her, one of her best recommended colors is deep purple, and it also is emphasizing her eyes. And if she decides to go with the lighter hair color, with the light hazelnut, she can beautifully wear Pure Soul, one of her best and most radiant colors that are also emphasizing her eyes beautifully and just putting all the features together, emphasizing and connecting all the features together. Pure Soul is one of the colors that will make her look memorable or even iconic. If you have any questions about this video, please leave them in the comments. Feel free to share this video with anyone who needs to know how to find the right hair colors and hairstyles. And if you love this video, leave a like and leave a comment. And I recommend watching this video next.